I am Javed Ahmed, Department of Mathematics, Jamshedpur Women's College, and in this video we are going to discuss some topics of countable and uncountable sets. Before coming to the main points, we define some definitions. And number one, a set X is said to be cardinally equivalent to a set Y if there exists a mapping or function f from x to y which is 1 1 and onto, and this fact is denoted symbolically by x is equivalent to y. This concept or definition can also be stated like this: two sets x and y are said to be cardinally equivalent if they have the same number of elements. Or we can say that the two non-empty sets x and y are said to be cardinally equivalent if we are able to establish one-to-one correspondence between these two sets. This can be understood with the help of the following examples. Let n be the set of natural numbers and let e be the set of even natural numbers. So we can define a function f from n to e defined by fn is equal to 2n for all n belongs to n. Clearly f is 1 1 and onto, because for each natural number n we get an even number, and there is no even number left in set B which is not associated with any natural number of set n, and hence by definition n is cardinally equivalent to the set E. Next example, let n be the set of natural numbers and let e1 be the set of odd natural numbers. So we can define a mapping f from n to e1 given by fn is equal to 2n minus 1 for all n belongs to n. And like the before example, we can easily see that this function is 1 1 and onto, and so by definition we will say that n is cardinally equivalent to the set E1 of odd natural numbers. Now we take the third example. Let A be the set of natural numbers 1 2 3 4 and so on, and B is the set whose elements are A1 A2 A3 A4 ... and we can define a function f from A to B such that fn is equal to an for all n belongs to A. Clearly here we see that for each natural number n of A we get a member of B, and clearly f is 1 1 and onto, and hence by definition the set A is cardinally equivalent to B. A theorem like this can be asked, or a question can be asked from you students, that show that the relation of equivalence in the family of sets is an equivalence relation. In set theory you have already learned that under what condition a relation is said to be an equivalence relation, and you have already learned that a relation is called equivalence if it is reflexive, symmetric and transitive, And here we shall prove that the relation of equivalence is an equivalence relation. Proof. We have to show that the relation of equivalence, that is in symbol, this is an equivalence relation. For this, we have to show that the relation of equivalence is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Number 1. Reflexive. We prove one by one how the relation of equivalence is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. So first we take up the case reflexivity. We have an identity function or mapping I defined on set A as Ix is equal to x for all x belongs to A. Obviously I is 1 1 and on 2. That is, we know that an identity mapping is always 1 1 and on 2, and thus by definition A is cardinally equivalent to A, and hence the relation of equivalence is reflexive. Second one is symmetricity. Let us suppose that A is equivalent to B. This implies there exists a mapping F from A to B, which is 1 1 and on 2. This implies there exists a mapping G is equal to F inverse from B to A, which is also 1 1 on 2. From set theory, we already know that only 1 1 on 2 mapping has an inverse mapping, and this implies B is equivalent to A. Thus, when A is equivalent to B, this implies B is equivalent to A. This shows that the relation of equivalence is symmetric. Third is transitive or transitivity. Let A is equivalent to B and B is equivalent to C. This implies there exists a 1 1 on 2 map from A to B and a 1 1 on 2 map G from B to C. This implies the composite mapping GF from A to C, which is 1 1 on 2 mapping. Also, we know from set theoretic concept that the composite mapping of 2 1 1 on 2 mapping is also a 1 1 on 2 mapping, and finally this implies that A is equivalent to C. This shows that the relation of equivalence is transitive. Since the relation of equivalence is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, and hence by definition it is an equivalence relation, and this completes the proof of this theorem or example. Next we consider a set which is empty set has a 1 1 correspondence with the set 1 2 3 and so on n, which is a finite set for some natural number n belongs to n, is called finite set. It is also stated like this: a set is said to be finite if it is either empty or its element can be easily counted. Next, a set which is not finite is called an infinite set. For example, A is equal to the set 1 2 3 is clearly a finite set, and a set B is equal to 2 4 6 and so on is an infinite set. An infinite set is said to be denumerable or innumerable or countably infinite if it is equivalent to the set of natural number n. That is, a set x is denumerable if x is equivalent to n. A student should clearly understand that denumerable or innumerable or countably infinite are the same thing, and a set which is either finite or empty, a set which is either finite or denumerable is called a countable set. And now we shall discuss rest of the topics of the countable and uncountable sets in the coming videos. Thank you.